being here. Obviously, you know the reason. Have George Teague, our Emergency Management Coordinator, and Sheriff Larry Fowler, and his staff, and Commissioner Larry Walden, Precinct 3, whose precinct certainly bears the brunt of any potential flooding we have. What we're going to cover today is we'll talk about the flooding that we anticipate, information that we have. We'll talk about evacuation, potential shelters, and how animals will be managed and handled that are there. And of course, the overriding thing we want to encourage everyone to do is evacuate all the areas along the river that are flood prone. So I'm going to turn it over to George Teague.
Again, my name is George Teague. I'm the Emergency Management Coordinator for Parker County. Initially, we began notifying people early this morning about the potential of the river cresting around 25 feet, and that is in the Mountain River Soda Springs area, the Lazy Bend Estates area in Brock, and then the Horseshoe Bend area in the southern part of Parker County. A lot of those people have already begun to evacuate. We're anticipating, depending on how much it rains, we actually could have a record flood event along the Brazos River in Parker County. We have staged equipment throughout the county. We have high profile vehicles in Granbury. We have a Swiftwater team from the National Guard in Granbury. We have all our local Swiftwater team in boats that are manned and ready in case they're needed. We have the potential of, we're trying to identify shelter locations now for people that need to evacuate, that don't have friends or relatives to stay with. We don't have a head count of what number of people will be evacuated, but we're going to be prepared to handle whatever we need. We are working with Red Cross to get those shelters established as soon as possible. We are asking everybody to be away from the river by 8 p.m. tonight. The current information we have, the water from the second gate being opened will arrive in Parker County around 8:30 tonight, with the river cresting at its maximum around 1:30 a.m. Tomorrow morning. And that's going to be somewhere between 23 and 26 feet. And that is, our previous highest was around 23 and a half feet. So we're going to be in that area of maybe a potential record flood for Parker County. We're totally dependent on, in reality, of how much it rains tonight and tomorrow night. In the Weather Service, we were on the conference call, the state conference call this morning, and then they're saying that we could have anywhere from 3/4 to 1.5 inches of rain. That will have a substantial impact on the areas that we now think will be flooded tonight and tomorrow morning. I'm going to pass it back to the judge.
What I want to do is emphasize again the fact that people need to go ahead and evacuate those flood-prone areas along the river. Back in '07, we had people who refused to leave, and our emergency services personnel ended up going out at 2 o'clock in the morning, or whatever time it was, and trying to rescue somebody on the top of a house who'd refused to leave. We destroyed a $7,000 boat in the process, and things like that go on. They need to be sensitive to the lives of our emergency personnel. So I've signed a disaster declaration. I will sign an evacuation order later today, and we expect people to get out of the way so they aren't harmed. Their lives are first important to us, then their property and their animals. The other thing, we want people not to call 911 unless it's a life-threatening issue. If it is just to call and say, where's a shelter, what do I do? 817-594-3213 is the number the Sheriff's Department wants to be used. I'm going to turn it over to Karen Kessler. She's going to talk about how Animal Control is going to manage the evacuation of animals.
Hi, I'm Karen Kessler, Parker County Animal Control. Weatherford City and Parker County are going to join together so we have more ACOs on the street. We've got our trailers and our trucks, our adoption trailers, so we'll have some place to put the animals. We'll be removing domestic animals as well as livestock. If you can't get your livestock out, you can call the 817-594-3213 phone number. You can leave it information, they'll get it to us, and we'll try to come and assist with whatever we can do to help you out. We ask that you, like the judge said, be out by 8 o'clock.
And the other thing regarding animals, they will be taken either to the shelter or whatever livestock, large animals will be taken wherever they can best house them. But people will have a responsibility to claim their animals. They can't be kept there for undetermined amount of time. There are procedures that have to be followed. We encourage people to take their animals with them as they evacuate. That is the best thing to occur. Commissioner Walden, you want to talk about your preparation in the precinct?
Larry Walden, County Commissioner, Precinct 3. Our crews have been out pre-positioning barricades to areas that they are aware from previous flooding. They'll be necessary when we get the call from emergency management or from fire and rescue. We will certainly barricade those roads. We will make that information known to all the emergency personnel when we do that, and so that we don't have any water rescues. But our crew is very well versed in where the areas are that need to be barricaded, and we'll begin on the northern section. As the flood waters move down the Brazos, we'll barricade there as necessary first. And once again, if you have a question about whether there's a barricade or not, feel free to call Sheriff's Office. They'll know, and everybody else will know too that those roads are barricaded. But we encourage everybody to go ahead and evacuate now, so that we don't have the problems associated with trying to get people through the standing water.
Sheriff, you have anything you want to add before we take any questions?
Just that the animal control officers are gonna go down as soon as this news conference is over and start knocking on doors when they try to identify these animals. And if they can't get them out, we're gonna help get them out. Last time we had a flood, we had a real problem with that, and we don't want that to happen again.
Okay, we're glad to take any questions.